Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me on NLBP TV. I am your host, Camille Miller, the founder of the Natural Life Business Partnership, and my co-host, Lee Grabarczyk from Soulful Mandalas out of Long Valley, New Jersey. Hi, Lee.
Good morning, Camille.
And I should say you are now on the Lee and Me Show.
Yes.
Yay! Today we're
Yay.
going to talk a little bit about balance because we just spent an hour talking before we turned on the microphone. But just to kind of, with everything that's happening in the world and kind of keeping our own balance and I'd say almost being true to ourselves as well, don't you think?
I think so. I
Yeah,
think that one of the things that has made this time, besides the quarantine things, which means that I'm not really active in the way that that would better serve me, the distractions that are coming in from a lot of the stuff that's connected to the social unrest and how it is that it impacts psyche. And one of the things about this is in my own self-care, in the kinds of things that are necessary for my own well-being, where am I with that? You
Hmm.
know, there is a lot of things that are creating an incredible amount of angst because of just what's occurring here. And the challenge for me in this is that I'm no good to anybody if I'm not taking care of myself. I
Yeah.
just become a part of a greater problem. And I can feel, just in my own experience here, I can feel that with with the sequestering here, with the quarantining stuff, I'm not quite exercising, and my body is so not happy about that. And I'm not really keeping the schedules and the kinds of routines that I know are important to my day. I know with your business, you're pretty on top of that, but I need to really stay on top of that as a way of maintaining a sense of personal balance. Because what happens is that when I lose my sense of balance and I lose my sense of identity, I also start losing my boundaries. And what happens with that is once I lose my boundaries and my sense of, you know, what it is that I can do, right? And what it is that other people need to do. What is my role in my life that allows me to maintain my own purpose, my own value, my own contribution without getting swept up into some other kinds of things that other people are experiencing. In other words, I need to constantly bring into the conversation what it is that I can offer based from my own self-care and strength. I constantly can only be a contributor when I have taken care of myself and given myself the kind of, if you would, strength, health, etc. So then I can kind of be a part of this other thing. But if I start getting caught up in, let's say that I have a friend and the friend is in trouble and I'm not capable. This is kind of almost like a kind of like when I lose myself, if you would, and I get so concerned about my friend, but I end up hurting myself. I'm then no more benefit to my friend because now they're feeling guilty that they kind of took me away from what I needed to do. In other words, I can only give what I have. And I think
Right.
that part of balance is the idea and the concept of I can only give what I have. There's a prayer in 12 step. There's a serenity. They call it the serenity prayer, and it's about granting me the serenity to take care of the things, to understand the difference between what I can and cannot control. That is really, really important. What is it that I can control? And if I can control it, let me be a participant in that. What can't I control? And let me let go of that so that I can maintain my balance in the face of what's going on around me so that I'm not actually then contributing to a bigger problem.
Agreed. I love that. You want to get that? No. I totally agree. Totally agree.
Again,
Yeah.
we're having a little technical problem. We got phones going off, but that's okay. We'll
That's
survive.
okay. That's how we know it's real.
It's quite real.
It's
We're
very
on
real.
the phone today and not the,
Yeah, yeah,
we
yeah.
have
That's
internet
true.
problems. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
So,
think that is really understanding that part of it, and also understanding my own limitations in it. It's a very important thing that I have to be realistic about. What is the energetic currency that I can offer? What is it that I can actually sustain here without becoming, if you would, get to the point where I start becoming not helpful to what's happening around me, in a way that, because I have not taken care of myself, and now again, what I was saying earlier, now other people have to kind of stop what they're doing to help me out. You know what I mean?
Right,
I think
right.
that's very, very important.
Yeah,
And
and
that
I
is
think
part
it's taking a step back and kind of doing a self-assessment of
constantly.
what you need. And now, especially with the quarantine, we have other stuff going on, but with we've been in lockdown for so long, and as people start to experience what normal is, I guess, and and how that's going to affect where people. I just said this to a friend last night. Um, we were talking about some arguments that are going on in town because our town's a little nuts. But and just seeing, one thing that this has done is it's brought out the good in people and it's brought out the bad in people, right?
Yes.
I think everyone's coming out differently, some better,
Yeah.
some worse,
Yeah, the mask is off. The
Yeah.
mask is off. That's what my
Yeah.
father.
I
So
love what you say about balance and you can only give what you have,
you can
right?
only give what you have.
And to keep a little bit for yourself. Like, don't give away all of your energy, especially in
Yeah.
a time when you're going to need it for your own self-care, which I think is really, really important, and trying to kind of consider what you need to stay in whatever the normal is for you, or just in general to stay very balanced in life. So I'm really hoping as we come out of this, we're not going to lose some of the balance we found.
Oh yeah, I mean, this has
Right?
really been sort of
There's some beautiful
a
stuff
form,
that's come out of this.
absolutely a form of self-reflection. It's like, well, what do people do when they go into deep meditation? Well, they usually go to an ashram, or maybe they go to a temple, or maybe they go to a monastery. What do? They quiet their mind. They separate themselves out from all of the noise and chatter so that they can discover what's going on within them. And the other part about this is that when something is happening with some of the social unrest stuff, I have to think about, for myself, what is it that I can contribute? Or what is it that, even deeper than that, what is it that this is causing within my own consciousness that I need to look at? What is it that's going on within my own brain, which I am, in charge of? Because I could make the conversation, if I wanted to, and get into some kind of blame game or some kind of attack. But I need to, before I get into any kind of communication, I need to take a personal inventory of where I stand with things so that I don't project my own stuff, unresolved stuff that is, into the conversation in a way that then continues to muddy the water of it. Because if I do that, I'm not serving anybody. If I can't come to something with a voice of clarity, with a voice of love, with a voice of calm, with a voice of clear intention of love, if I can't do that, then I'm going in there and I'm continuing to be a disrupting agent. Now, disruption, I understand, is part and parcel of growth, because we need to kind of break things down before they can be rebuilt. But if I do that, then I can get swept up and lose my balance, because now what's happened is I have said, I am not going to really make myself the priority here, because I think that whatever it is more important. But in the process of doing that, I'm actually using that as a way of avoiding. I'm saying, I know I'm in debt, or I know that I have to clean up my home, or I know I have to, but hell, I'm going to go and I'm going to do this because this is really, really, this really is important. No, you got to take care of you. When we all do that, when we all act like that, it's not just the fact that we are bringing a sense of a kind of calm and relaxed attitude into the conversation. We are setting a tone by our energy, by the actions of self-care, that is very, very healing to the people around us.
Yeah.
So important. It's if I want to be, be the change you want to see, be that change, and be that, be the kind of like reinvented self that takes care of self, be that, that loses the weight, that takes care, and use those personal reflections about whatever it is that's going on in my own self-judgments too, because self-judgment is another, again, why inventory is so important. If I'm in a state of judgment and I'm not conscious of it, if I'm like not looking at my own self and my own judgment about me, then I'm going to end up projecting that judgment onto other people, and I'm going to make my internal problem about them. And that is another kind of issue that comes up, because it's not, what I'm doing then is I am not working really responsibly, because I'm not taking care of first things first.
Right.
There are some people who are in situations where the only thing that they can do is take care of themselves. I mean, a more extreme example of that would be someone who is in the hospital in intensive care. All they can do is take care of themselves. For many of us, or for some people, we're working on trying to figure out, what we need, what we have to do to take care of ourselves. And once we get up into that, and then we start contributing from that, that's a different thing. But if I'm doing it because I'm, again, avoiding, then I've kind of missed the point of it all.
Love it. And actually, what came to mind as you were saying all this is, I just want to speak out to some people that are leaders. Like if you're leading a group or leading a family or leading whatever it is for you, if you're an influencer, if you're a leader, you need to stick to your balance. Like I'm a big one.
Yes.
I had a very important conversation with someone yesterday who was really stepping up as a leader in all of this. And, dealing with other people's conflict and dealing with a lot of things that come up because there's a lot of anger in the world, right? Just about lots of things right now, of not self-projecting what has to come out, what you feel, personal judgment, to kind of say, like, almost like stay neutral, get the conversations going that need to happen, not to always take sides. And sometimes it's better not to engage.
If
an argument.
and I do this with the people that I work with too. Let's say that I'm in a circumstance where I have a history of letting people take advantage of me.
Yeah.
Right. It's just something that's been going on. It's just maybe it's a codependent issue, etc. And I go into a circumstance where I see people being taken advantage of. And I get so swept up into that conversation. And I say, for me to feel better, you have to be blah, 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 blah. No. I can't. If I do that, what's happened is I have not really looked at it from my side of the street, if you would.
Yeah.
And I notice sometimes with people also, and this is even for me too, like if I have a series of events happening, right? I have a bunch of things that have been occurring and they keep happening. Maybe it's a person who, I don't know, they rip me off some money or whatever. So if that keeps happening, one of the things that I can look at is, okay, what was common to all of those? Me. Who was the common denominator in all of these events? Me. So what was going on for me that I allowed that to happen up front, and actually fostered that kind of outcome by not creating some kind of balanced approach to the recognition of, wait a second, I'm not going to do that if you're not going to come forward and give me the fair part of it. And if you don't, we're going to draw the line here, and that'll be that. Once I get that kind of policy in place and that sense of personal ownership of my power and recognition of my worth, now I can bring that to other people who have that, and I can emanate that energetically. I can just hear what they have to say, and I can actually, and I've had this happen just by being there with them, set a tone that they go, oh, I see what I can do here. I don't even have to speak. It's amazing. They get it.
Yes.
Why? Because I was able to do it myself in a way that allows them the kind of
reflection,
opportunity to see the mirroring of it, or see the connectedness of it, that then causes them to create their own solution. And that is much more powerful. I think it's much more powerful that I remember this one person I was working with, and later on, after doing many years, I knew them, and then them coming up with their own point of view. It was very much connected to some things that I said, but it wasn't me, it was them. It was something that they had made for themselves in such a way that brought their unique perspective. So if I tell somebody, look, you got to do blah, 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 blah. Different than, this is what I've done. This is what I've been able to achieve. I hear what you have to say. I let them vent. We talk about what's going on, and then poof, epiphany. And it's much more important. This is another thing that's really important to me. It's much more important that other people figure out their own thing than me tell them what that is.
Oh, absolutely.
That is ridiculous, because that's being parental and enabling and crazy. A person can challenge somebody on something. We can have a conversation about it. We can get into that. But when I'm doing that kind of action, I'm bringing up the personal responsibility, and why that is so, because personal responsibility is absolutely essential for balance. It is absolutely essential. I am going to fall over when I'm not personally responsible, because I am no longer in a position of self-care that allows me the discernment of what is and isn't in my best interest.
I love that. I'm writing it down.
Well with our technical stuff here. Yes.
Because we were saying we'll talk about balance, but I like balance and personal responsibility.
It
right?
Definitely.
You have to see where you're showing up in it.
Absolutely.
I love that.
And also, why is this so upsetting to me? Why is this so bothersome to me? What is that really, really, really about?
What's
Seriously.
Underlying. Where's that coming
what
from?
What is the underlying thing here? Because there's a lesson in that. And, with strife and there's challenges like this, with the things that are happening, good. This is an opportunity to look at, what is this for me? What is in my heart that I need to address, that's my heart is aching over? Why is my heart so restless now? Why am I so upset right now? What is going on in my own consciousness right now? Maybe I've never owned my power. Maybe I've never seen my duty. Maybe I've always been dependent on other people to define myself. And that is something that I'm mourning. I'm mourning those decisions that I've made that have hurt me, because I never thought enough of myself to stand up for myself.
I love
that changes the conversation.
I love that. All right, we're going to wrap up on that note, because it was a good one.
Yay.
If you love these conversations we're having, please let us know what you'd like to hear us talk about at thenaturallife.org contact us page. If you loved this episode, please share it with all your friends, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you, Lee, for another fantastic show.
Thank you, Camille.
Bye.
Bye.